Howdy, folks, and a warm welcome back to the Deep Dive. Glad to have you join us right here in the heart of Overton County. Whether you're listening in from Livingston, maybe Cookeville, or even up around Birdstown, settle on in. We've got something mighty interesting to unpack today.
Always good to be here, ready to dig into something new with you and everyone listening.
That's right. And today's journey, well, it comes straight from the curious mind of one of our own. A fellow lifelong learner, just like so many of us scattered across, Pickett and Fentress counties, always looking to understand a little more.
That's the spirit.
They sent in this fascinating set of notes. Not your everyday read, mind you. It's full of these rich images and, well, big ideas. Almost like a map for a journey with all sorts of characters you might meet.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it's a different way of looking at the twists and turns of life. Something you don't always hear discussed down at the local coffee shop, maybe.
Definitely sounds like it goes a bit deeper.
That's the plan. Our mission today is to really dig into these notes, pull out the most insightful pieces, the kind of knowledge that can give us a fresh perspective on our own paths, even.
I like that. A fresh perspective is always welcome.
And to help us navigate this kind of complex map, we've got our expert right here who's got a real knack for seeing how all the pieces fit together.
Well, I'm ready to explore this unique landscape of thought with you. Let's see what we find.
All right, so these notes, they kick off with something called The Fool's Journey Begins. And the very first picture is of the fool himself. Now, picture this. A fella with sleeves, a little frayed, kind of tattered looking, carrying just a tiny little sack and wearing a feather in his cap. What's the deeper meaning there, according to these notes?
Well, what's really interesting is how those little details, they hint at something much deeper. Those tattered sleeves. They're not just wear and tear. They speak to experience.
Experience, like he's been around the block a time or two.
Exactly. Lessons learned, It suggests this journey isn't starting from absolute zero. It's building on past adventures, even if they left a mark, like those frayed edges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seasoned, not just ragged. I like that. Now, that little sack he's carrying looks awfully small for what could be a long road ahead.
Right. But see, that small sack, it isn't about lacking things. It's more about potential. About having everything needed, maybe in a hidden way, capabilities you haven't even tapped into yet.
Like hidden talents or something.
Could be. It speaks to traveling light, being resourceful with just what you've got.
And that feather, the one sticking up in his cap. Surely that's more than just looking fancy.
Oh, definitely. That feather, it's a symbol. Potential, maybe a lightness of spirit, even a touch of innate wisdom. A little sign that even when you're starting fresh, there's an inner knowing.
An inner knowing.
Yeah.
Okay, now behind the fool, there are these big icy mountains. They look kind of daunting, like a big challenge right off the bat. What might they represent?
Ah, yes, those mountains. They bring up something crucial about starting anything new, don't they? They can symbolize that feeling of, hesitation.
Hesitation.
Yeah, that moment where fear or doubt kind of creeps in, even when, deep down you're actually ready. It's like looking up at a steep climb, maybe up on the Cumberland Plateau on a cold morning, you might feel a bit frozen at first, even if you've got the strength.
Boy, that rings true. That feeling of being stuck for a second before you take the plunge. Okay, so from that moment of maybe doubt, the journey moves to the magician. What's the main thing about him?
With the magician, the real key is that symbol, the Ouroboros, that snake biting its own tail, making that infinity symbol around his waist.
Yeah, I see that.
That speaks volumes about continuous renewal. Reinvention,
Yeah.
the cycle of life, the power to transform yourself.
Reinvention. Kind of like the seasons changing right here in Tennessee. Always that cycle of growth and rest, then new growth again.
Precisely. And the notes really highlight that his power, his ability to manifest things, it's fueled by joy. See the garden around him?
The garden, yeah.
That connects to that old idea, as above, so below. It suggests our inner state, our joy and intention directly impacts what we create out there in the world. Like planting seeds with a happy heart, they're just more likely to flourish, right?
So finding joy isn't just about feeling good. It's actually productive.
Uh-huh.
Helps you get things done. Interesting. Okay, next up is the high priestess.
She sounds mysterious, like she holds some deep secrets.
She does, in a way.
Yeah.
Her crown is a big clue. See the 3 phases of the moon on it?
Uh-huh.
That represents deep intuition and ability to see the flow of things, the beginning, the middle, the end, like a clear vision that goes way beyond just the surface stuff.
Seeing the whole story. Past, present, and future all at once. Wow, that's a powerful kind of knowing.
It really is. And the notes suggest she taps into that by deliberately quieting the outside world. shutting out the noise. Much like, finding that deep peace on a still, foggy morning out in the holler.
Yeah, those quiet moments we cherish out here. Finding clarity when things settle down.
That's the idea. Clarity in the quiet. All right, so we've seen a hesitant start, the power of reinvention through joy, and the wisdom of intuition. The journey takes some different turns. First, the Empress. What does she bring to the table?
Well, the Empress, she kind of embodies understanding that life has its, well, chaotic parts. See the waterfall behind her? That's like a force of nature you can't fully control.
Right, life throws curveballs.
But her focus, see, it's on nurturing abundance. Those fields of ripe wheat around her, she shows the power of working with nature, not against it. Like a good farmer tending their land, using her scepter, that symbol of power, with grace to cultivate growth.
Working with what you've got to create plenty.
Right.
Some folks around here who work the land, they understand that deep down, taking pride in a good harvest.
Absolutely. And notice her clothes, rich, heavy fabric, that suggests surrounding yourself with quality, create an environment that supports success and, well, just feeling good, valuing what you have.
Good reminder for all of us. Now, next is the Emperor, and the notes mention a connection back to the Empress.
Yeah, look close. There's a flow of water from behind the Emperor heading towards the Empress. It symbolizes this vital exchange of energy, a balance between structure, which he represents, and nurturing, which she does. He's holding an ankh, too.
The Ankh, right, symbol of rebirth.
Rebirth, the ongoing cycle of life. Always a chance for a fresh start, like the hope of spring after winter.
Always need that hope.
And here's a key detail. See the armor he wears under his cloak.
Ah, sneaky. Didn't
What?
spot that at first.
It indicates readiness. Being prepared to jump on opportunities that might pop up quick, like, needing to act fast when a good deal comes along down at the flea market before somebody else snags it.
Huh. Gotta be ready to move when the time is right. Happens all the time. Okay, who do we meet after the Emperor?
Next is the Hierophant. He represents learning, guidance, kind of the established paths. See his crown and staff? They have 3 tiers.
3 tiers.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Symbolizes the different stages of learning. Initiation, like just starting out, apprenticeship, learning the ropes, and mastery, really knowing your stuff. He's like a teacher, sharing wisdom.
So it's about progressing through stages and maybe helping others coming up behind you.
Precisely. And the notes say this card can also mean you're prepared for your next step. Or maybe you're in a bit of a dip, that learning curve right before you really get something.
Oh, yeah, we've all felt that feeling. Stumbling a bit before it clicks, like learning a new chord on the banjo or something. Then we come to the Lovers. Now that sounds like a big moment, a real crossroads.
It often is. But it's not just about romantic choices, though it can be. It represents a more fundamental choice in life. A fork in the road, a big decision needs making. The notes emphasize aligning with your new path.
A new path, okay.
And notice there's usually a figure above them, kind of like an angel or something. That represents divine guidance, higher intuition. Even if the way forward isn't perfectly clear, see the clouds sometimes obscuring things.
Yeah, it's not always crystal clear which way to go.
Right. It's about trusting that inner voice, that gut feeling, even when the path ahead is a little hazy.
Trust in your gut. Makes sense. What happens after the Lovers make their big choice?
They move forward with the Chariot. Now that's a powerful image. Victory, sure, but also, importantly, about charting your own course. See the stars above and moons on his shoulders?
Alignment.
Alignment with your own dreams, your desires, not just following the crowd. And look, the Sphinx is pulling the chariot. They don't have any reins.
The reins, how does he steer?
That's the point. It symbolizes this deep faith that if you're true to your own unique path, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, will kind of guide you. You don't need to force it. True success isn't about following everyone else.
Blaze your own trail, like the early settlers pushing into these hills, figuring it out as they went. Okay, next up is strength. How's that shown?
Well, strength here, it isn't about brute force. It's about inner power, specifically the power that comes from mastering your own inner critic, that voice of doubt we all have. That's represented by the lion.
Ah, the lion. And she's calm with it.
Exactly. The lion's calm demeanor shows she has that inner control, taming that inner wildcat, like you said.
Something we all got to work on day in, day out.
That's just it. It's shown as an ongoing practice, a daily thing. And this inner work, the notes suggest, that's what leads to being able to do really challenging things like, finally getting that old tractor running when everyone said it was just junk.
Yeah. There's a quiet pride in that, fixing something everyone else gave up on, a personal victory. Who comes after finding that inner strength?
We encounter the hermit. He's sought solitude, gone up on a mountaintop, represents a period of deep introspection looking inward. Some call it a dark night of the soul.
Enough time, maybe.
Often, yeah. His gray cloak and long beard, they symbolize the wisdom gained through that difficulty. And the lantern he carries, that's the inner light, the knowledge he's found.
Sometimes you really do got to step away from the hustle and bustle to hear yourself think, like taking a quiet walk out in the woods behind the house.
Exactly that feeling. But the notes emphasize something important, that hard-won wisdom. It's not meant to be kept hidden away up on the mountain. The hermit needs to come back down and share his light, be a guide for others.
Passing on what you've learned, like telling stories around the campfire, sharing experiences. That's how knowledge keeps going. What's the next turn after the hermit shares his wisdom?
We get the Wheel of Fortune. This card speaks to the ups and downs, the ever-changing nature of life, those turning wheels.
Yeah, life feels like that sometimes, just spinning around.
It can, if you're not careful. But the key, according to these notes, is to find your center, to actively engage, double down when things are good, and face the challenges. See the snake on the wheel. Face him head on.
So taking the reins instead of just getting tossed around.
That's it. Ignoring the problems, the snakes, just keeps you stuck in that spin cycle, that washing machine life, the notes call it.
Washing machine life.
Yeah.
Gotta avoid that. Meet your challenges head on, like folks here weathering a big storm. Okay, what comes after the wheel keeps turning?
Justice. See her? Balance between those two gray pillars. That's neutrality, fairness. She's sitting centered, signifying equilibrium.
Balanced. And she's sitting on a marble slab.
Yeah, that marble slab suggests that the wisdom to maintain this balance comes from experience, from really understanding cause and effect over time.
Looking at things with a fair and steady eye, something you learn through the years. Makes sense.
It's about understanding our actions have consequences, and there's a kind of natural order.
Now the next one sounds a bit uncomfortable. The Hanged Man.
It looks it, doesn't it? But see, he's chosen this. He's willingly hanging upside down from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. It's not punishment. It's about gaining a whole new perspective by seeing things from a completely different angle. Notice his head is often glowing.
Growing, like enlightenment.
Exactly. A moment of insight gained by sacrificing his usual way of looking at things, giving up your normal viewpoint to really understand something new that can be a real breakthrough.
A big shift in perspective. Takes courage, I reckon.
It does. But the notes emphasize this stillness, this temporary sacrifice of action, leads to deep insight. And once that wisdom is gained, it's time to, well, get off the pole, as the notes say, move forward with that new understanding.
So quiet reflection leads to clearer action down the road. What follows that kind of dramatic image?
Death, which, despite the scary name, is really about transformation. The end of the old to make way for the new. The picture often shows a fallen king or figure.
Signifying that even powerful things end.
Right. Nothing lasts forever in its current form. But look closer, there's usually a white rose on the banner or nearby. That's a symbol of hope. New growth always follows endings.
Endings can be hard, no doubt.
Yeah.
But they do open the door for new beginnings, like clearing out the old dead plants in the garden to plant new seeds come spring.
That's a perfect analogy. And the notes often highlight the contrast. You might see figures resisting the change, but then there's often a child embracing it, maybe holding flowers.
Like a reminder to be open.
Yeah, that a childlike openness to the new can make these transitions a whole lot smoother. Looking forward with open arms, like you said.
That child's got the right idea. Okay, what's next on this path of big change?
Temperance. Now, this is often seen as just balance and patience, but these notes give it a slightly different spin. It still involves blending things, like the figure pouring water between two cups, but see the clear path leading towards a crown in the distance.
Yeah, looks like a goal.
It suggests that the major transformation, the big shakeup, is mostly done. The period of waiting and integrating is kind of wrapping up.
So the waiting game is mostly over at this point.
In this context, yeah. The notes suggest that after being patient, doing the inner work, the path to achieving your goals is now clearly visible. It's time to confidently move forward.
Time to take those well-thought-out steps. Okay. But then, we encounter the devil. That sounds like a big roadblock.
Well, it represents those forces that can make us feel trapped. Maybe negative self-talk, unhealthy habits, attachments, pressures from outside. See, the figures often have loose chains around their necks.
Loose, meaning they could get free.
Exactly. The bonds aren't as strong as they seem. The notes mention the black box of Saturn, pointing to limitations, maybe feeling stuck.
Feeling stuck in a rut. Yeah, we all know that feeling from time to time.
True. But here's a really interesting alternative view in the notes. The devil can also represent raw, powerful, creative energy that just needs to be acknowledged and channeled properly.
Creative energy, how so?
It suggests that sometimes what feels like a limitation or even a temptation can actually be a source of immense power if we learn to work with it, not just fight against it.
Huh. Turning those challenges into opportunities. Kind of like making
Exactly.
something really useful or beautiful out of what looks like scrap metal. What's the next hurdle after confronting that?
The tower. Whoa. This one's about sudden, often disruptive change. A real shakeup that forces us to face reality, bam. Structures we've built, maybe on shaky ground, they can come tumbling down.
Sounds like a serious wake-up call. Losing something important, maybe?
It can feel like that, a reality check. But the notes also point to the lightning bolt that strikes the tower. That can be a flash of sudden insight, a revelation. Jarring, yes, but ultimately it can clear the way for building something stronger, more authentic, on a solid foundation.
Sometimes you got to tear down the old barn before you can build a new one that'll really last. What comes after all that dust settles?
Ah, a welcome sight. The star. It's like a beacon of hope and healing right after the upheaval of the tower. The figure pouring water, often into a pool and onto the land.
What's that symbolize?
Sharing your gifts, connecting with a larger universal energy, maybe sending your hopes out there. The water flowing onto the land suggests healing and new possibilities are available to everyone.
A message of renewal and connection. We need that after the tower.
We sure do. And see the ibis bird often perched nearby. That represents wisdom, gaining a higher perspective, getting some much-needed clarity after all the chaos.
Seeing things from a new vantage point? Yeah, that can make all the difference. Okay, next is the moon. Sounds mysterious again. What illusions might we face here?
The moon represents that realm of subconscious fears, illusions, anxieties, things that aren't quite clear, maybe feel a bit spooky or confusing. It cautions against being misled or losing your way. See the two pillars often shown. They mark a clear path between them.
Like goalposts to keep you on track.
Kinda, yeah. A reminder to stick to your plan, even when things feel uncertain or shadowy. These times are often temporary.
Staying true to your course, even when doubts try to creep in like fog rolling over the lake early in the morning.
That's a great image for it.
Hmm.
And look at the animals, often a dog and a wolf or coyote. That represents the need to balance our wild, instinctual side with our more tame, domesticated side. And sometimes there's a lobster or crayfish crawling out of the water.
A lobster. What's that about?
Emotional baggage? Stuff from deep down that needs to come up and be released. And those mountains in the distance. They might look imposing under the moonlight, but the notes say there are challenges that can be overcome.
Letting go of what weighs you down and keeping your eyes on the prize, even if it looks far off. What finally dispels all these moonlit illusions?
The sun. A big, bright, radiant card. Pure joy, clarity, vitality. Often shows a happy baby riding a white horse with a banner.
Sounds like things get easy all of a sudden.
There's definitely a sense of ease, effortless progress. The white horse symbolizes support, assistance coming your way. It's like a ray of sunshine after a long storm, truly.
We could all use more of that. Is there anything blocking the sun?
Sometimes there's a wall shown.
Ah.
That represents self-imposed limitations, the barriers we put up against our own inner child, our own ability to just feel joy and play. The sun's light helps dissolve the illusions of the moon, brings clear understanding and happiness.
Let that light shine in. Okay, we're almost at the end of this big part of the journey. Next is judgment.
Judgment signifies a call to step into a new phase of life, embrace a new purpose. You often see figures rising up out of coffins.
Ooh, leaving the old life behind.
Exactly. Shedding old ways of being, old identities that no longer fit. It's a necessary step to embrace what's next, your true calling maybe?
Leaving behind what no longer serves you to really step into your potential. And finally, the last card of this major arcana journey.
The world. This is it. Completion, fulfillment, the successful end of a major cycle or project. The central figure often holds two wands.
Two wands, like the magician's wands.
Right. It symbolizes the integration of intention and manifestation, like the magician, but now combined with purposeful action, ideas and doing, working together perfectly.
Ideas and action in harmony. That sounds like real accomplishment.
It is. And see, the four figures often surrounding the main one, maybe an eagle, a bull, a lion, a person. They represent wholeness, integration, all the elements coming together. The world signifies reaching a major milestone, feeling that deep sense of, I did it.
What an incredible journey mapped out there. From that kind of hesitant fool all the way to the one who has experienced the world. Phew. But these notes, they go even deeper, don't they? They touch on all the other cards too, the minor arcana. Let's just get a quick feel for those. The wands, first, they represent action, desire, getting things going. What's a key takeaway?
Yeah, wands are fire energy. Think of the King of Wands as the big picture visionary, the Queen as following her intuition. The Knight is that sudden burst of action, maybe a bit impulsive, and the Page is just pure, raw enthusiasm for a new idea.
Okay, the court cards set the tone.
Right. Then the numbered cards track the progress. The 10 is feeling burdened but almost home. 9 is that wounded warrior perseverance, keeping going despite setbacks. 8 is about speed and focus, things happening fast. 7 is kind of jumping in even if you're not fully prepared.
Doing it anyway.
6 is victory, but often with help from others. 5 is learning through conflict or competition. 4 is completion, celebration, like a homecoming. 3 is seeing opportunity on the horizon, maybe something others don't see yet. 2 is that moment of deciding to leave your comfort zone. And the ace is that initial spark, that brand new beginning or idea.
Wow, a real guide to just getting things done. Okay, what about the pentacles? These are about resources, the material world, right? Money, work, home.
Exactly. Earth element, tangible stuff. The ace is a new opportunity, maybe a job offer, a gift, a chance to build something. The 2 is that juggling act, trying to keep multiple things going. 3 is teamwork, collaboration, showing off your skills within a group. 4 can be about holding on too tight, maybe being a bit possessive or resistant to change.
Got to know when to let go sometimes.
For sure. 5 often shows hardship, feeling left out in the cold, but the notes remind us help might be right there, easier to find than you think. 6 is about generosity, charity, that balance of giving and receiving. 7 is pausing to assess your progress, checking on your investments or hard work, is it paying off? 8 is craftsmanship, mastery, really honing your skill at something.
Taking pride in your work.
Definitely. 9 is enjoying the fruits of your labor, self-sufficiency, independence. And 10 is about legacy, family wealth, long-term security, passing something down. Then the court. Page is eager to learn practical skills. Knight is slow, steady, maybe a bit hesitant but reliable. Queen is nurturing, practical, uses what she has wisely. And the king is the master builder. Stable, provides security, knows how to make wealth grow.
Sounds like a solid roadmap for managing what you have and building a good foundation for the future. Now, the swords, these deal with our thoughts, our mindset, communication, conflict sometimes, air element.
Correct. Swords are about the intellect, clarity, truth, but also challenges and decisions. The ace is a breakthrough idea, a moment of sharp clarity cutting through confusion. 2 is being caught between 2 choices, needing to find balance or make a truce. 3 is often heartbreak, sorrow, but the notes stress it leads to forgiveness eventually. 4 is rest, recuperation, finding hope after a struggle.
Taking a needed break.
Yeah. 5 is a tough one, conflict, where maybe you win but at a cost, or learning the hard lesson that not every battle is worth fighting. 6 is moving on from difficulty, often with guidance, heading towards calmer waters. 7 can be about strategy, sometimes sneakiness, but also finding a better, perhaps unconventional way to do things. 8 is feeling trapped, but usually by your own thoughts and perceived limitations. The way out is there.
Getting out of your own head.
Right. 9 is anxiety, worry, sleepless nights, those mental loops. And 10, while it looks rough, often depicts someone defeated the notes, call it a blessing in disguise, the absolute end that must come before a new beginning. Then the page is curious, asks lots of questions. Knight charges in, maybe speaks too quickly. Queen is sharp, clear-sighted, cuts through nonsense. King uses knowledge and authority with wisdom and fairness.
Sharpening your mental edge and making wise choices, even the tough ones. Okay, finally, the cups. The realm of emotions, relationships, intuition, water element.
You got it. Cups are all about feelings, love, connection, creativity. The ace is a new emotional beginning, an outpouring of love or intuition. 2 is partnership, connection, mutual understanding. 3 is celebration, friendship, community joy. 4 is sometimes apathy or contemplation, maybe overlooking what's offered while focusing on something else. Or the notes say, mixing resources creatively.
Interesting twist there.
5 is sadness over loss, but with a reminder to see what still remains gratitude for what you do have. 6 is nostalgia, innocence, maybe gifts from the past or connecting with your inner child. 7 is about choices, imagination, sometimes needing to bring your dreams down to earth and make a practical decision. 8 is walking away from something emotionally draining, even if it's difficult.
Knowing when to move on for your own good.
Crucial. 9 is often called the wish card. Contentment, satisfaction, wishes fulfilled. And 10 is lasting emotional happiness, harmony in relationships, family joy, fortune after difficulty. The page is imaginative, intuitive, maybe brings an emotional message. Knight is the romantic, acts on his feelings and dreams. Queen is compassionate, leads with her heart, emotionally mature. And the king is emotionally stable, compassionate yet controlled, maybe a bit of an adventurer too.
Ooh, it's a whole lot packed into those notes. A
Right.
truly deep dive into pretty much every aspect of the journey. So let's try and bring it all back home. For us folks right here in Overton County listening in, what's the big picture we can draw from all this?
Well, I think if we connect this whole journey laid out in the notes to our everyday lives, what really stands out is it mirrors the universal experience, doesn't it? Growth, change, ups, downs. We all face moments of uncertainty, just like the fool starting out.
Sure do.
We all have times of creation, like the magician, and times of sudden challenges, like the tower shakes things up, and hopefully moments of real fulfillment, like the world card shows. It's a reminder that life right here in Livingston or Cookeville or anywhere in our communities, it's a constant process of learning and adapting.
Yeah, you can really see these themes playing out all around us, can't you? That hesitation feeling when trying something brand new.
Yeah.
The satisfaction when hard work pays off with a good garden harvest, like the Empress's wheat.
Right.
Finding a bargain down at the market because you were ready, like the Emperor. The sudden storms life throws our way, like the Tower or maybe the Wheel. And the quiet satisfaction of a job well done or sharing wisdom with a neighbor, like the Hermit.
Exactly. These aren't just abstract ideas in some old notes. These archetypes, these experiences, they're woven right into the fabric of our lives, whether we're facing a personal challenge, trying to build a business up in Birdstown, or just navigating the day-to-day right here in Overton County. It's about maybe recognizing these familiar patterns in a new light, understanding them a bit better. So maybe think about it this way, friend, this whole journey we just talked through. It's really a reminder that every single experience, every step, every challenge, even the things that feel like setbacks, they all hold valuable lessons if we just, take the time to really look and see them.
That's right. That's powerful. So consider your own path right here in our neck of the woods. What ice-capped mountains are you looking at right now? What's that one little thing, that first small step you could take, just like the Fool, to begin that climb? Maybe this very week. And here's the remarkable part I want to challenge you with. Take that first step, no matter how small it feels, and then share it. Tell a neighbor, mention it to a friend at church, maybe even post about it on one of our local Overton County community boards online. Let's create a ripple effect of growth and action right here where we live, from Livingston to Birdstown and everywhere in between. Let's encourage each other. And hey, if you found some useful wisdom, something that resonated with you in our deep dive today, please do us a kindness and hit that like button. Leave us a comment. We love hearing what you think. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next exploration together. And now, just a moment here. For each and every one of you listening in Overton County, and maybe even beyond our borders, may you find clarity on your unique path ahead. May you find the strength you need for your endeavors, large and small. And may you find an abundance of blessings in all that you set your hand to do. Amen.